Hello, and welcome to What is Crypto? I'm Matt, and this is Crypto. Today I'm going to be talking to you about Casper, ticker signal KAS. I'm going to be talking to you about what the absolute hell has been going on in the altcoin markets, and I'm going to be talking to you about just what I think you should be doing with your Casper bags. Hint, hint, it's definitely not selling. And smash that like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Cheers, legends. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Now let's get into it. Alrighty, so Casper, let's have a look straight to the charts. Alrighty, Casper, what are we seeing? Well, we are seeing a massive wick down. Now, it wasn't just Casper that wicked down. If you want to have a look at the general altcoin markets, everything got absolutely beaten to a pulp. Everything was red, everything was down 30-40% over a short time period. It was almost like everyone had a synchronized plot to just nuke their altcoin bags simultaneously. Good chance there was a lot of market makers involved, such as big exchanges that wanted to liquidate. Now, if you're not sure what liquidation is, in essence, when people trade with leverage, there are liquidation levels. So when the price drops to a certain level, a lot of money is liquidated, and that money goes to the exchange. So it is definitely in exchange's best interests to liquidate people from their positions, as when they are liquidated, the exchange is profiting from that. So yeah, some people have estimated that it was 2 billion. However, if you want to have a look at Ben Zhao's post, it was a lot higher than 2 billion. So Bybit in a 24-hour period liquidated $2.1 billion. So estimates are probably closer to $8 to $10 billion worth of liquidations. Now, this is the largest liquidation event in history of crypto. Insane amounts of money wiped from the markets. So as you can see, there is relative strength in the markets right now. So a lot of different coins absolutely nuked and then have been bought up. Now, one really strong performer at the moment is Casper. So Casper, as you can see from its lows, is up 42%. It blows my mind that yesterday you could have bought Casper for 7.5 cents, less than 8-cent Casper. Insane. Now, if you were lucky enough to buy Casper yesterday, actually scratch that. Not lucky enough. If you were smart enough to buy Casper yesterday, I think you are on an absolute winner there. Really good entry for Casper. Anything under 12 cents for me is a great entry into Casper. And yeah, I think you could do a huge amount worse than even buying KAS right now. Why is that? Well, a lot of people are scared at the moment, and scared money does not make money. Smart money makes money, and smart money buys when things are on a fire sale. So yeah, I'm going to now go into why I do not think that altcoin season is over, and why I think that today's entries are still going to be a really great price. I'm going to talk about what we've seen historically, and yeah, hopefully you get some great information out of this video. Alrighty, now if we're just going to have a look historically at Bitcoin, when does Bitcoin really start to rip up? So we're going to have a look initially at the 2017 cycle. So if we're scrolling back here, putting us 6, 7, 8 months after the Bitcoin halving, let's have a look. So January, February, you can see that doesn't look like we have gone up much. However, if you're actually looking at how much we'd gone up since the Bitcoin halving, this is still up 120%. So yeah, it doesn't look like too much retrospectively. However, it still is quite a large number. January, February, this is where it really started to cook. And after there, massive pump. So we had about 100% gain up until January, February, 120% gain. And then after January, February, after the 120% gain, we went up 1,500%. So let's look at the next cycle. So January, February, around here, and then we did still have a massive run up. So 2017, 2021, and then the next one we're going to look at is 2025. Now let's have a look at altcoins. So we'll go Ethereum. Ethereum is a major one. Ethereum is really important to track. Once again, looking at kind of that January price action, looks more bottomed. February wasn't really until kind of March, April that we started to rip up. Now, if we want to have a look at the last cycle, where were we? January, February, we hadn't really ripped up as much. We were just starting to push up in January before absolutely ripping up into outer space. Solana, January, once again, hadn't had a massive rip up. So January, February, ripped up. Now, May, if you've ever heard the term sell in May and go away, bit of a cool off in May, and then bang, absolutely punched up. So January, February, pumped up, chilled off for a few months, and then absolutely ripped up. So after the sell in May and go away cool off, we then did over a 10x for Solana. Also, just quickly, as I know a lot of you are going to be thinking there are too many altcoins this season and that the oversupply of tokens could kind of dilute the profits that we could be seeing, well, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. So yes, there are absolutely way too many tokens, but if you note, the vast majority of them are launched on pump.fun and the vast majority of them go to zero very quickly. So yes, there are a lot of tokens and a lot of people do hold different tokens. However, I feel like a lot of people that get into meme coins go on pump.fun, lose a truckload of money, and then they go back to quality. They go back to ETH. They go back to Ethereum, they go back to large L1s like Casper, they go back to a little bit of safety. So yeah, the token dilution, I do see that argument. However, personally, I'm not too concerned. I think that really after a lot of people start losing money and see other people making money, it's probably going to drive up the price of blue chips more so. I think a lot of that money is going to end up being quite concentrated. So backing the leaders in different narratives, I think is a good bet. Now for me, Casper, the narrative makes so much sense there. Silver to Bitcoin's gold, that digital peer-to-peer payment solution, as well as being a larger one that's tradable on quite a lot of exchanges and still has some really big exchange listings to come. So yeah, I do think Casper makes a lot of sense there. Now let's have a look at some other coins. So let's have a look at AVAX when AVAX started ripping. AVAX, so January 2021, just had a little bit of upside there. January, February, bang, absolutely ripped. Sell in May and go away, chilled off for a few months. And then it wasn't until June, July that we absolutely started to rip up parabolically. So after that, we had a 13x. Let's have a look at Cardano. So Cardano, where were we? So January, February, we had just started to rip up with Cardano, pumped up, sell in May and go away, couple of months off, then absolutely ripped up. Yeah, it's not looking amazing right now. However, if you're having a look at similar time periods, we did see 50% bleeds in altcoins. Also really interesting to note that sell in May and go away has been quite applicable, especially in the last cycle. Not saying that we'll always repeat the same, but things tend to kind of have a similar pattern. So if we're looking at where we are now, it looks to me like we're in quite a similar spot. February, little bit of a cool off, rip up towards May, cool off, bang, shoot up. So February, a little bit of a cool off. Now that's looking at a couple of the bigger altcoins. Some of the smaller altcoins, such as Gala, if you're looking at them, January, February, hadn't really moved a huge amount. And it wasn't really until, say, August, September, October, November that they really started to absolutely rip. Now, I want to show you a different side than a lot of YouTubers do show you though, as it isn't just as simple as holding every single coin until October, November. Now, a lot of coins, they did top out before. So when you go January, February, coins like Filecoin, they topped out in April. SushiSwap topped out in March, April. And if you had held coins like these all the way through to November, well, you wouldn't have done too well. It is really hard to pick, however, as gaming was a super hot narrative. And if you had sold gaming in April, that you would have missed out on the absolutely parabolic run that ended in around November with that blow off top. So what I'm trying to say is there is the big importance of taking profits along the way, also identifying the narrative that you think is going to be one of the top performers. And I do think for me personally, the narratives that have the most longevity, apart from the big L1s, are likely going to be AI and meme coins. So I am invested in gaming, but I do think if gaming starts to absolutely rip, I'm going to be more inclined to take profits more aggressively with that. Either way, I think you should take profits pretty aggressively on a lot of your positions if you're up a huge amount. Now I'll go and have a quick look at my Twitter. I shared this little post the other day, and that is just kind of to show where we are in comparison to previous altcoin seasons. So January 2017, January 2021, and January 2025. Now, this is kind of what we just went through then. The really parabolic altcoin rips do typically take off in the year after the halving, and they do typically take off from February. All right, now I'm going to have a look at something a little bit different. I'm going to have a look at Ethereum and how Ethereum has performed. So this will kind of give you a decent indication of how Ethereum usually performs in the months after halvings. So if you want to have a look at 2017, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months straight of green. So 6 months straight. Now 2017, next one was 2021. 1, 2, 3, 4 green months in a row. And in 2025, the first month has been green, and I would expect there to be some more green months. February's got off to a little bit of a rocky start, but I do really expect us to perform quite well. And also, as always, I'm going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin dominance, as I think it is such a damn important thing to track. So Bitcoin dominance, if you're not familiar, this chart indicates the strength of Bitcoin versus altcoins. When this chart is going down, that means that altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. When this chart is going up, that means that Bitcoin is outperforming altcoins. So what what we want to see is we want to see a sharp drop off in Bitcoin dominance, and that really indicates altcoin season. If you haven't experienced an alt season before, but you were here in November, December, you might recognize that time period when altcoins went absolutely parabolic. November, if we're looking at Hash AI, early November, we just absolutely rocketed up towards December. So with Hash, which is one of my more bullish AI plays, we went up about 700% or so. So some pretty insane gains. And that was demonstrated in the charts by a drop off in Bitcoin dominance. So what we want to see is we want to see a sharp drop off in Bitcoin dominance. Now, conversely to that, when we see Bitcoin dominance cranking, markets are usually bleeding hard and altcoins are getting absolutely wrecked. So this massive candle that we were printing was when altcoins were absolutely getting dumped. So yeah, we have been going up now for about 3 years. And what we usually do see is we see 3 years of going up in Bitcoin dominance and then roughly 1 year of sharp drop off down. And if you look historically, after the Bitcoin halvings, which are these yellow vertical lines, it's taken 7 months before a sharp drop off, 8 months before a sharp drop off, and we're currently 9 months, hopefully having a sharp drop off over the next month or two. Also, if you want to have a look at when Bitcoin dominance breaks down month-wise, you can see that March. It wasn't until March in 2017 that Bitcoin dominance nuked down. And in 2021, it was around January, February that Bitcoin dominance really started to push down. So yeah, Q1 in the post-halving year is usually when we start absolutely ripping. So yeah, that's Bitcoin dominance. And because over the last few cycles, it has broken down as altcoins start to absolutely rip, it is something that I'm definitely looking out for. And it's something that I really can't overstate the importance of tracking Bitcoin dominance. So yeah, we've been ranging up for quite a long period of time, but I do anticipate over the next 6 weeks or so a breakdown in Bitcoin dominance. Awesome. That's going to wrap it up for today, legends. Don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Also join my Discord, 100% free to join. Scroll down, click the link, and I will see you there. As always, I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next one.